Portloe again, walking fans, and we're off on our way to Mevagissey. And we've just parked up at Portloe, and early morning sunshine. The weather forecast for the rest of the week is not great, so I'm going to make hay today. Just an interesting meeting with two intrepid souls who come all the way from Norfolk, and they live in Cromer. And I inquired about the Cromer crab salad, and they told me it no longer exists. There's no crab fishing at Cromer, which I found a staggering start to my Monday morning walk. Anyway, the business in hand, Portloe to Mevagissey. I'm rounding one of the milestone headlands on the southwest coast path, Dodman, the Dodman, the dead man, a wrecker of ships. Portloe down below us, farewell, and Gull Rock in the distance. And quite verdant here, so my legs are getting a good old clean up from the wet grass, stingers, chives and other such plants, and got this to do. So this will get the heart rate up a bit early doors. Hard going. It was more than one ascent, particularly stiff one just done. A couple of 100 feet above the sea, looking towards Mevagissey. 20 to 10 now, and Mevagissey beach and point is possibly a delightful coffee stop to come. The Dodman Point, the dead man, does exactly what a fine headland should do. The sun's in the wrong place to get it captured in detail, but the dark outline is a pretty nice view of a proper headland, and that's our next goal, to get up on top of that. Early contender for song of the day. Andy and me just intercepted a couple of lunatics who looked as though they were about to walk over the cliff by climbing over what clearly was not a stile, and we put them right. So an early inspiration for a potential song for the day is Wayward Son, Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, and I miscombobulated that with Fortunate Son, which I called Unfortunate Son, which my musical encyclopedia walking alongside me corrected me correctly and told me I was talking tut as per usual. So potential song for the day is Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas. Where did the money come from to pay for that castle? That's what I want to know. I shall look it up. Who did they exploit?
That folly up there.
Bit of what?
Folliness.
Always a bit of folliness. Indeed there is. That's definitely a folly feature.
Oh, I wonder if that's the groom. Bride has to stand up there, and the groom stands down here and she calls up to the.
So he's up there and's got to make her climb up.
Yeah, that's the right way round, isn't it? That's what the rest of their married life's going to be like.
Oh, controversy on the SWCP.
Another bloody.
Quite a nice bit of battlement action there. If you like that sort of thing, I quite like it. I have a feeling this is a bit of a false castle setup here, but the historians will correct me, I'm sure. Gardens Castle, with some incredible sum of money to get in. Picnics for adult prices, I should say. Tenner for the gardens, 14 quid for the castle. Presumably the gardens are included. No concession for us old folk. Absolutely disgusting. If you like that sort of thing, you like that sort of thing. I don't. But plenty of people have come here today. Cars on this road annoying us because it should be for walkers only. And we go cross country from here on. So away from the emmets. Emmet is the Cornish word for ant. And that's what the Cornish folk call those of us who come here like a swarm of ants, emmets. Now I'd like to think that Andy and me, that doesn't apply to us because we've invested blood, sweat and tears on walking the Cornish coast path and spending money down here and respecting what we're doing. So I'd like to think that we're just at the top end of the emmet fraternity and sorority. Well, that silhouetted, saw-toothed headland just in front of me is Grebe Point. So grebo, greaser, sort of leather jacketed, cut off at the shoulders obviously, so sleeveless. Levi 501s covered in sump oil and a taste for hard rock. So kind of think status quo, that sort of thing. Those are the grebos. I think it was a class thing as well. I think grebo was generally classist, referring to manual, semi-skilled, male, not overly qualified, nothing to do with their background intelligence, of course. So grebos, mods, rockers, hairies. I guess Groucho Marx comes to mind. Any club which will have me as a member, I don't want to join. So, just a few reflections on grebos from back in the day. Part of the aging process is denial. And I think attempting this undertaking of completing the Southwest Coast Path is for me one of my supreme acts, and I think it's true for Andy as well, of denying our age. I feel if I weren't doing this, my knees, which are dodgy, and my balance, which is far from perfect, would be worse. So I'm denying the fact that I'm in my 7th decade by challenging myself physically. So I had in my mind it was going to be a memorial to lives lost at sea, and it's going to be a Celtic cross, and it feel very Cornish. And I'm utterly irritated to find when I get there that its dedication is to the second coming of somebody who didn't exist, and certainly didn't come twice. And if he did, he should bloody well have come and saved those poor souls out at sea. So an utter travesty in a place like this to have a memorial to evangelical drivel. I don't know, about 3.5, 4 miles, if that, from Mevagissey. Rounded the Dodman, and I've pondered at some length the mathematics behind the bench paradox. So when you're looking for somewhere to have coffee or lunch or just have a sit down and rest, at any point you have those thoughts, the bench that you wish to sit on is an impossibly long distance away. And in fact, the more you walk, the further this bench recedes. And I think the mathematics are an equation which says the distance to the next bench is multiplied by an impossibly high number close to infinity. Unless you stop. So you're fed up waiting to get to this bench, so you give up and you sit down on a tuft of grass somewhere that's convivial enough, or a pleasingly shaped rock or boulder, and the very second you do that, the next available bench roars towards you in mathematical space and is 10 yards around from where you're sat, but invisible. And this happens time and again. So the only way out of this is to query fellow path walkers who can fix a bench in space and time. And we did that earlier, and we were promised not only a bench but a coffee machine and a massage, but it didn't materialise. However, a bench did. So we've just had a very pleasing lunch, sat on a bench just around the corner from Dodman's Point, or Dodman Point. I kind of hope these places are lived in, but there's not a lot of sign of life. And this is what you get for your bucks. You get that view there, and glass panelled stoop. MFI garage. Houses that originally would have commanded an undisturbed sea view. Not no more. So this is Goran Haven, somewhere I've never been before. Very tight little lanes, impossible to park or get through. That's a statement place in there. Puffins. That's a Kevin McLeod job if ever I saw one. Not a bloody soul up here though, not a car in the drive. Nobody in the garden and no sign of life, the blinds are down. No wonder the Cornish get pissed off. Hi walking fans. It's 3:15, about 10-11 miles in the bag, possibly a bit more. I've just had one of those, oh fuck me, how far is it to go moments. I just looked at what's ahead of me and thought, oh, for flip's sake. I distinctly remember the guidebook. I distinctly remember the guidebook saying that after Dodman, it eases off. Well, my knees are telling me something different. But I know we're less than, I think, 2 miles. I hope so. Because I just had a long distance view and I saw a settlement. I thought, Christ, I hope that's not Mevagissey, because if it is, I'm just going to burst into tears. And not of joy. Well, just had a splendid interaction with a couple of folk from Hale. He's 71, she was definitely younger, and rather nice actually, and he was brilliant. All sorts of great stories about getting stuck in the dark on the coast path, and that they haven't fallen out yet so far. They just walk apart when those difficult moments come. But I'm at a strange place. This is Kelowna Beach. We've just come round Chapel Point, very close to Mevagissey now, and it's like some kind of colony. It all looks a bit religious to me, and I mean beautiful. Cedar trees galore, and what a spot. So I wonder what goes on in there. I'm intrigued. Well, we're just about to enter the southern suburb of Mevagissey called Portholland, and Porth means harbour, port, and melon. Well, I'll leave that one to imagination, walking fans. Journey's end, Mevagissey Harbour. Harder than the guidebook says. Tough going right from the beginning, and quite rugged, fair amount of up and down. Dobman was huge, but I expressed my disappointment at the dedication on the cross there. Well, never mind about the crosswalking fans, it was a terrific day's walking. Wild and rugged to start off with. We then had the fake castle to deal with, which bugged me ever so slightly, but the coastal scenery was just magnificent. Portloe Bay, a cracker. Turning north towards Mevagissey itself, once we'd done the mighty Dobman, was a great way to finish another marvellous day's walking on the coastal path. Bring on tomorrow.